The history of South Africa can be divided into several main phases: the pre-colonial era, European colonization, British domination, the apartheid period, and the democratic era that followed. Long before the arrival of Europeans, the land that is now South Africa was inhabited by diverse indigenous peoples. The San, often called Bushmen, and the Khoi lived as hunters, gatherers, and herders, moving with the rhythm of the seasons. From the 6th century after Christ onward, Bantu-speaking peoples such as the Zulu, Xhosa, Sotho, and Swana migrated into the northern and eastern regions. They practiced farming, animal husbandry, and craftsmanship, forming well-organized communities and kingdoms with complex systems of governance, trade, and spirituality. In the year 1652, the Dutch explorer Jan van Riebeeck arrived at the Cape of Good Hope on behalf of the Dutch East India Company. He established a small refreshment station to supply passing ships on their long journeys to and from India. What began as a modest settlement soon expanded, drawing Dutch settlers who became known as Boers, meaning farmers. The settlement's expansion led to growing tensions and violent conflicts with the Khoi and San peoples, who were gradually displaced from their ancestral lands. During the 18th century, Boer settlers moved further into the interior of the country in search of land and autonomy, a movement later known as the Great Trek. This migration eventually led to the founding of the Boer republics in the regions that would become known as Transvaal, the Orange Free State, and Natal. At the beginning of the 19th century, in the year 1806, British forces took control of the Cape Colony from the Dutch. The British brought with them their own administrative systems and social order, which created friction with the established Boer settlers. The 19th century saw further British expansion and a series of violent conflicts, not only with the Boers, but also with powerful African kingdoms such as that of the Zulu under King Shaka. The two Boer Wars between the British Empire and the Boer Republics took place between the years 1899 and 1902. The wars were brutal, leading to the loss of many lives, including civilians who suffered in concentration camps. In the aftermath, the British consolidated their power, and in the year 1910, the Union of South Africa was established as part of the British Empire. In the year 1948, the National Party came to power and formally instituted the policy of apartheid, a system of racial segregation and white supremacy. Under apartheid, the majority black population was denied political rights, restricted in movement, and forced into segregated areas. Laws, such as the pass laws, controlled where black South Africans could live and work. Education, healthcare, and even public facilities were divided along racial lines. Throughout the second half of the 20th century, resistance against apartheid grew stronger. The African National Congress, the Pan-Africanist Congress, and other movements organized strikes, protests, and campaigns of civil disobedience. Leaders such as Nelson Mandela, Oliver Tambo, and Desmond Tutu became global symbols of the struggle for freedom and equality. The apartheid government responded with arrests, censorship, and violence, but international pressure and internal resistance continued to rise. In the year 1990, after 27 years in prison, Nelson Mandela was released. Negotiations between the government and liberation movements followed, leading to the dismantling of apartheid. In the year 1994, South Africa held its first free and democratic elections, and Nelson Mandela became the country's first black president. Since the end of apartheid, South Africa has been a democratic republic governed by a constitution that guarantees equal rights for all citizens. Despite the progress achieved, the country continues to face significant challenges, including poverty, inequality, and corruption, issues deeply rooted in its long and complex history.